Hello everyone, I said I'd do another video before I take Max out for a walk. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 6:35 p.m.
Hi, I'm Crystal. If you like my videos, please like the button, press the like button. Please subscribe. Thank you for your support. Right. I think my mum's been a bit of a lifesaver really, because next door to the other side of me, they've had two kids on the balcony since I've got back from my mum's, which was about 5 o'clock. There's been a couple of kids shouting, screaming, and I swear one of them said nut job. I swear one of the little kids said nut job. I don't know whether that was me. You know what kids do? Bums, do, nut job. I swear I heard that, but I'm not taking any notice of it, because what comes out of the mouth of babes, you really can't get cross with, can you? My daughter, when she was about 6, used to come out with some really bad stuff. So I've had kids, I know they're noisy, I know they say things, but it's not the guys upstairs kids. These kids, probably I don't know, perhaps they're staying with grandma and granddad, and they've been yelling and shouting and banging the balcony since I've got back from my mother's. As I was getting out of the taxi, there was kids noise, but they're doing that to everybody, it's not just me. I mean, it's making Max jump. It's like, you know, they're being really, really noisy. But that's kids for you. They're staying, obviously, grandma and granddad are looking after them, and they're rather boisterous kids. And that's what he called his kids upstairs. He said, your kids are boisterous to him, and his grandkids are loud and boisterous themselves. Anyway, that's by the by. So we've got kids going bums and all sorts of things, and they're right next to my bedroom. I'm not in there. I haven't been in my bedroom all day, because on my video this morning, my mum's voicemail to me said that she was feeling unwell and she had a red blanket over her, and my mum lives in Chatham. I didn't say I wasn't well and I was in bed, did I? So there's kids screaming near my bedroom, basically. And if I want to do a live stream on my balcony, I mean, if I've got kids screaming, I'm not going to be able to do one. But I can do a live video on the field while I'm walking Max. I can do a video outside the back. Doesn't have to be on the balcony. Because I said I was going to do a live video on my balcony Wednesday. I don't know if I am at the moment, because everything's okay. But if I did want to do a video on the balcony, I can't do it with screaming kids in the background, can I? I know what's in their minds, but I can do a video inside my flat. It doesn't matter if I can hear them screaming through the window. I can still do a video in my flat, right? Of course I can. I'm looking forward to watching The Wishmaster. Now, this is an excellent film, like a horror film. I really love it. It's vintage. I need to go to the opticians. My eyes. I need new glasses. When our pretty young heroine, Alexandra Amberson, Tammy Lauren, stumbles across a gem that imprisons the most malicious of genies, you know all hell will break loose. The djinn, Andrew Divoff, is not your average genie, and once awakened from his 1,000-year slumber, he wreaks evil and destruction across LA. Alexandra soon discovers that she alone can empower the djinn to inflict infest the earth with his vile race, and she alone can save the world. Now I'm going to watch this tonight. I've been looking forward to getting this. I couldn't find it when I went to... I looked everywhere for it. I couldn't find it. I've been to charity shops and I can't find this film, and I finally got it. Can't wait to watch that. So I haven't been indoors all miserable and then gone to bed and had screaming kids next to my bedroom, because that's not happened. So I went to see my mum. We had a chat. There was no stress, no arguments. My mum's having a bathroom fixed, and I feel fine. I've actually got some money to go to the shop with as well. So I'm not a nut job. Nobody's a nut job. I don't know why people are shouting out nut job. Speaking the truth, it's not being a nut job, it's being honest. It seems like a lot of all this is put on, it's staged. I'm not saying the kids are actors and actresses, but I've walked down the path, and you know, when you get a 3 or 4 year old kid shouting things that an adult would say out of his pram, then it seems a bit like staged to me. I've been up to my mum's. I've seen the mess the blokes have made in her bathroom, and they left my mother in well, I said, how are you going to the toilet? And then she opened the door for me, and I could see there was sawdust all over the loo seat, and I had to wipe the toilet seat to sit on it. She can't have a bath. She's elderly. She said she's had a wash, so she can't have a bath. And you know, I'm glad I went up there, because I've seen it for myself. And she's sleeping on the sofa. She's an old lady. She's probably scared. I would be. But she's got Sue next door coming in and out. And I've told her, if you need me, ring me. And she got her phone fixed. I saw 2 of the workers. One was a little foreign man and had all paint down his trousers. And my mum laughed and she went, she's too old for you. My mum said to him, she's too old for you, and so am I. And as I was waiting for the taxi, there was this little Mini, and it had the number plate Ho. So this little Mini backed near my mum's doorway, and it had the number plate Ho on it. And then the taxi came. It was a really nice taxi. It had blacked out windows at the back, electric. Really nice taxi, the one coming home. It was really, really smart. Really liked it. I've got no qualm with either of those taxi drivers. Very professional and very quick and very polite. None at all. The trouble is, when I take Max up, they can't get a taxi driver that is not allergic or to dogs on the taxi's not pet friendly. So I've got my spaghetti bolognese to nibble on either tonight or tomorrow. I've got money to go to the shop. We'll see what happens Wednesday. If nothing goes on, I might go and get myself a new pair of leggings and a top and get some Halloween bits. And I don't really want to do depressive videos, but I am going to tell you what's going on, because it's in the minds, isn't it? Thinking I'm ill in bed, not well, and there's screaming kids jumping up and down on the balcony right next to my bedroom. It's their minds, their evil minds. And it's not me that's not well, it's my mother up in Chatham that isn't feeling very well. And it's my birthday on Wednesday. And if I want to do a live video, I'm not going to let neighbours stop me with screaming kids in the background. And it's not his kids upstairs. It's the ones to the side of me, and I've got an empty flat to the other side, and I had paint smell coming out of there this morning. And then I went up to my mum's and there was sawdust stench. I mean, it's not nice, is it? I'm glad I went up there because older people can't see properly and they slip over. Fancy sitting your ass down on a load of sawdust and getting that stuck up your bottom and your private bits. Sawdust. I always, do you know what? I think most of us do. You don't just sit down on the toilet seat, do you? You don't just sit down on the toilet seat because someone could have left a pubic hair or a piece of shit on it. I always wipe the rim of the loo seat before I sit down on it. Anyway, guys, well, it is Monday morning. Tuesday is another day. Take each day as it comes, but I don't get cross with people. Their actions will be seen by other people, and other people will know I'm not lying. What they will get caught out and found out when other people notice what they're doing. I don't have to shout at them. I don't know what they're trying to do next door, but I've had a dog try and get in the lift with me. It barks every time I try to go out of my door, and now the kids are screaming by my bedroom window. I haven't got a clue what's going on. My mum's happy enough, I think. I've rung my mum up to tell her I got home safe. I don't take any notice of other people. If they want to make silly noises and act like baboons in a zoo, that's up to them. Just ignore it. It's the minute that you let your guard down and let it in, and then you look the villain, because they are provoking, they are saying things to make you cross, and you can't lose your temper with kids. You can't. So if they're shouting things like nutter, nutty, you can't say anything. And it's not his kids upstairs doing it. Because the guy upstairs hasn't got a dash hound. He hasn't got a dog. So I don't know what they're trying to do, whether they're trying to copy him. I haven't got a clue. But there's a disabled lady underneath them in a wheelchair. There's a disabled lady under them in a wheelchair. So they're not irritating me. That's not above my head, thank God. And when they move in next door, what noise they make won't be affecting me, it'll be underneath them. So when you move in, you're going to start banging on the floor. You're banging all your furniture. It's going to affect the people downstairs more than it is me. And they will be sandwiched in the middle. So if someone plays music downstairs, it rises up. And then if someone's playing upstairs, they're sandwiched in the middle. That's what I am. You get noise from below. If you're in the middle, you get noise from above and below. So I've got noise from above and below, and you've got people to the side as well, and it's like fucking cardboard. So you can hear everything. So I'm indoors with my dog. We're getting ready to go out a bit later. I'm fine. I think it's being done to try and stop me doing videos and I don't go outside on the balcony. Obviously I'm not going to with kids screaming and shouting. Well, there must be something, There must be something wrong if they've got to do that. There's nobody else doing it. There's nobody else opposite or to the side or above anywhere else. It's just them next door to me doing it. Right, Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Opinion poll in the States puts Donald J. Trump 10 points ahead of President Joe Biden. It seems to be an outlier and many are questioning it, but it also shows a turn towards Trump by younger American voters. Is something moving in American politics? I'm joined now by Rina Shah, geopolitical advisor and strategist based in Washington, D.C. Great to see you there. An outlier can mean that this poll is almost meaningless, or that it is a straw in the wind and things are changing. Which do you think it is? Well, either that was a very, very good question, or I've just lost Rina for a moment. Let's see if we can move on to the next story, which is also based in the States. Before we get to that, however, I must tell people a little bit more about this poll, because lots of other pollsters in the States have said this is completely meaningless. This is not something to be taken seriously, and yet it's sent a sort of shiver of fear, I guess, through parts of the democratic world in particular, because it suggests that really, in many ways, because of his age, Joe Biden is becoming less and less popular, including among younger voters. Faced with what you might think of as an impossible choice between two very old men, they seem to be thinking that Donald Trump has more energy and more boom in him than the current president. The biggest thing about the poll, however, is that it suggests a move by younger voters to Trump, which is not what we might have expected. Does this suggest that perhaps these conspiracy theories swirling around the political ecosystem in the States, that there's some kind of great big geopolitical conspiracy against Trump, is that to do with it? I'm joined now again by Rina. I hope you can hear me again, Rina. My first question, which I thought was quite a good question, was, is this a straw in the wind, this poll, or is it merely a completely meaningless outlier in your view?
I think we should take this poll with a grain of salt. 2016 taught us that that's what we ought to do when we're this far out from the general election. But look, there's a reality here, is that this isn't completely meaningless. There is a feeling that Joe Biden isn't delivering what people wanted. And that's true amongst a great many folks who crossed over to vote for him, folks who either stayed home also in 2020, or those who are even giving up now on feeling that Joe Biden is the right person to have the Democratic nomination. This feeling really stems from the economy, and that's where we should look for the genuine sense of where younger Americans are looking.
But, you know, looking from outside America, we're quite jealous of your economic performance. You know, inflation well below lots of other countries, 3%. You've got some growth. You've got things moving in your economy. Why would people be so angry? And second, sorry if I can just add, why is it that younger American voters seem to be beginning to turn towards Trump?
There are some key indicators that the Biden administration has been touting as success. And look, they're not wrong. When you talk about inflation, the price of daily commodities coming down, that is a good thing. They've been having some success in cooling inflation, is what I mean to say there. But again, the prices haven't come drastically down, and that's something we sort of expect with a number of measures, either taken in combination by the Federal Reserve or by also those who are advising Biden on what lies ahead. There's been a lot of talk also about things like housing. We're always anticipating the housing bubble to pop here in these United States. And look, we have a really different challenge here as well, because younger Americans that thought that they could have the dream their parents had, which was retire in their 60s, have a nice two-car garage in the suburbs with that white picket fence, and also maybe have 2 children to boot, cannot hack it. And I'm talking about those born after 1981, millennials. They're having troubles making mortgage payments, so therefore they're not buying homes. Then Gen Z, which put Biden in the White House. This is a very, very young crop of Americans. I'm talking about those who are fresh out of college, or some are still sitting in college. They can't afford their rent. And so forget making a mortgage payment. They can't even make their rent. And so therefore they're not leaving their parents' home. They're going back to their parents' home. And again, that is what is sort of leading to that cause and effect there, is that feeling that our politics is leading to nothing getting done.
So, Rena, this is very, very familiar. I suspect to a British audience here what you're talking about, younger voters not being able to afford a home, people worrying about their retirement. And it's the part of the bigger picture of the loss of the West, including America, of economic heft and industrial power to China. So that's underlying a lot of this. But can I ask you about a much more trivial seeming question, which is Joe Biden's age? I heard Donald Trump make quite a funny joke about him, looking, as he walked across the White House lawn, looking as if he was walking on toothpicks. Are these kind of jibes and this sense that really the president isn't quite up to it, is that beginning to hit home a bit?
The frustration is at a fever pitch right now. There are so many Americans who are not just angry, but they are downright furious about the fact that Democrats and Republicans continue to prop up folks who are octogenarians. And a Biden-Trump rematch is what almost nobody wants. But younger Americans have come to expect that this is all there is, that we have a system that gives us two bad choices. We've seen it over and over. Trump is a mere 3 years Biden's junior. He just comes across as looking physically more vital, physically more strong. And we applaud that in our politics. We actually reward that. So for Trump, he's going to continue to make those kind of low blows, those jabs, because he knows he can. And therefore, again, we sit in this moment where we're thinking, is this the best we've got? And younger Americans don't feel represented. But we have a system that rewards the incumbent. We have a system that makes the incumbent even richer. And so the Biden administration can talk about their success with getting unemployment figures right, bringing down inflation. But also, conservatives aren't wrong to talk about core inflation. And you hear younger Americans sort of tacking onto that and saying, there's something here. I'm being lied to by one set or the other. So it's just really a matter of who you're talking to and when you're talking to them. But I don't think this will go away anytime soon.
Rena, that was brilliant. Thank you very, very much indeed for talking to me, and sorry for the little hiccup in the middle there. Now, one thing we've been covering on this show is the American Writers' Strike, which covers Hollywood films and television. It's meant big holes in the schedules for many streaming companies and others. But now, hooray! After 146 days, a deal does seem to have been struck. The argument with the Writers Guild of America was about pay and conditions, but also about artificial intelligence being used to replace human writers. Among the shows coming back as a result are The Handmaid's Tale, Severance, and Stranger Things. Here to tell us more is Mike.
Right, guys, I am getting ready to take my dog out for a walk. It's going to get darker. So my torch hasn't come in the mail, so I'm going to have to get another one. I have this little balloon. It's been annoying me because it needs to be popped. And it won't pop like as in pop, so it's just deflated. It's deflated. I'm going to try and get myself back on track and try and be happy and stop letting things get to me. And that's what I'm trying to do. But sometimes when it comes across that people are being a bit cruel and wicked, it sometimes gets a bit too hard to bear. I'll see you later, everybody.